Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Ingrid Boudet, and I'm founder of No More Noise Toronto. And tonight we're going to talk about the Rogers Stadium Community Engagement Plan, which is also a pilot project for other community engagement plans. So tonight I'm going to do a little bit of an intro of No More Noise Toronto. I know there's some new names in here and new faces, which is wonderful. We're going to talk about how this came to be and why is amplified sound so bothersome, how we're taking action, going to talk about some solutions, and then also what you can do. And we're going to then talk about this as a community engagement pilot. So No More Noise Toronto, I founded this about 2.5, 3 years ago now, because I am personally impacted by noise, and that for me it's motor vehicle noise. It's not amplified sound, but I've heard about plenty of different noise sources that bother people, and so we're focused on the noises that wake us up, keep us up, and disturb us day and night. We're grassroots. We've grown to over 1,550 supporters. We have the support of FONTRA and FOSTRA, which is the Federation of North and South Toronto Residents Associations. We are data and process oriented, which means we don't point really big fingers at the city, because they are often inheriting processes that someone else has made decisions on. So we push for change through data and through improvement of processes. We're engaged in the civic process at City Hall. Many people have deputed on behalf of No More Noise Toronto. I have as well. And so our approach has led to collaborative discussions with 4 city divisions: Municipal Licensing and Standards, the Police, Toronto Public Health, and Toronto at Your Service, which is 311. And we also are very happy to collaborate with Civic Tech Toronto, Esri Canada, University of Toronto, Toronto Metropolitan University, Gasbusters, which are the leaf blower people, love them, and Quiet Communities in the USA and others. So how this came to be, it was really interesting. So I had a number of residents kind of reach out to me, and they were like, how can we inform people about what to do? Because the stadium's happening. They all realized that, the concerts are booked, the tickets are sold. We're stuck with this. So what can we do to come up, and we're talking about Live Nation, we're talking about Rogers, behemoth companies. So what can they do? Because they felt that the stadium was forced upon the residents. And so I also heard that community meetings that happened there, they were on private property. They weren't necessarily transparent and possibly misleading. And when people tried to contact Live Nation or contact Rogers, they didn't get a response. And so also concerts on weeknights, Tuesday night till 11 o'clock at night. Most people have to work the next day. And so this was also like, what's going on here? And then to talk about the noise exemption process. Well, the noise exemption process is also something that is like a 50,000 outdoor seat stadium has never happened before. So we're using the same process for something that's for a festival, for a 400-person festival, for a 50,000 seat outdoor stadium. So that is also a problem. So our goal was to educate people about what they can do if the sound bothers them, because many people don't know what to do. And that's one of the biggest problems with reporting noise is you go to 311, and if you talk to a person, you might even get talked out of making the noise report. Or the other thing is, if you report to 311 and you're the only person, oh, well, the noise is happening now. Well, what about and then they say, well, we're going to come and we'll see you in, anywhere from 5 to 10 days. It's like, well, that doesn't help for amplified sound. So there's just a whole bunch of processes there. So I want to make sure it's very clear for people to know what they can do. So this was just a really, really quick slide that I just put in here as I was talking to another participant here, because he was talking about change in our city and the fact that, when people move downtown, they are moving into an area that they know is loud. But many of you some people have lived in your homes for a very long time. What? We have a stadium here? What's going on? So I wanted to reference the agent of change theory. And so what this is that if you are somebody who is moving into King Street and there was already a nightclub there, or there was already outdoor venues and outdoor patios and all that stuff, that they were there first, so that you are made aware of that and you know that you're coming into that environment. Well, how does the agent of change play in this situation? Here you're going into a predominantly residential neighborhood. Sure, Downsview is a huge property, but surrounded by homes, surrounded by residences. So how is the agent of change playing out here? And this is kind of using the city's words back to them. There's more information on that, and when I send out the deck, I will absolutely include that information. So let's talk a little bit about decibels, because sound, actually, so let's talk about the definition of noise. Noise is defined as unwanted and or harmful sound. And so you may want it, but even if you go to these concerts and get pummeled by decibels, guess what? It's still impacting your health. But you've chosen to be there, but it's still impacting your health. It's kind of like smoking. If you choose to smoke, it's going to impact your health. So decibels, you've probably heard about dBA. And so that is basically the decibels are, we don't hear frequencies all the same. And so this is where on the bottom here are the frequencies, and the blue line is dBA. The green line is dBZ, so imagine that as 0 or baseline, and the red line is dBC. And the reason why I'm going into this is because dBA is what a lot of noise is measured in, or what a lot of sound is measured in, and that is attuned to what we hear. So we don't hear as well in the sub-bass and bass frequencies. So that is why dBA is basically discounted at these lower frequencies. But DBC is not discounted as much because we feel more in the lower frequencies. So we've all, I don't know about you, but I actually really love live music. And I've spent my time in my youth right beside a speaker, just being vibrated. And so, there's a time and a place for that, but our homes is not the time nor the place for that. So that's why that's why I'm sharing about DBC, because amplified sound is actually measured in dBA and dBC. So this is where so I take measurements with sound level meters, and I'll go into that in a minute about the sound level study. But the thing is I'm not an acoustical engineer, and I never say that I am. But what I have come to learn is that all different kinds of sounds have a signature. And what you can see in this picture here is what amplified sound looks like. I was actually going to include another picture of a sound level meter that was recording beside a nightclub that had this kind of a pattern till 4:30 in the morning. But then you would never see normal. The poor person that lives there, they've had their battles as well. So here you can see, like, this is kind of normal sound levels, and then there's this frequency. It's up and down, up and down, up and down, and that's that bass beats. That's that pumping. And what I have found is that music has really changed. This electronic music that can push out these low frequencies. I actually went to a concert at the Danforth Music Hall, and it was an electronic music concert, and they pushed out these low frequencies, and I was sitting in my seat vibrating. It was like, wow, this is what this is. And then the music stopped, and I was like, oh, it felt like a workout. It was amazing. And the thing is that it travels through glass, it travels through concrete, and it travels over a long distance. I know there's some people here on the call from the Toronto Island area, and you get pummeled by the bass beats because they travel right over that hard surface of water, and you can hear them from a long way away. And from where I live, I can actually hear them a couple kilometers offshore. I hear the party boats. It's not loud, but it's like boom, 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 boom. And the other thing with low frequencies is that there's a vibration. Try and ignore a vibration. It's impossible. We can kind of plug our ears for decibels, but we can't do anything regarding vibration. And that's some of the biggest complaints that I hear from people, is that they are literally vibrating in their homes, and you cannot run away from it. So I think that's why this issue has escalated, and the enforcement process is broken. So we are taking action, and what this is looking like in Downsview is what the idea was to, let's start with flyers. Let's start to distribute flyers in the neighborhood and make it easy for folks to send in emails, to know who to call for 311, to have your voice be heard. So this is a QR code to the Take Action page of the nomoreNoiseToronto.com website. And on that, you will see a link where you can, with one click, send an email. And this makes it easy for folks. And so what we're in that email, you can put in your postal code, and that'll include your counselor. But hard coded is Counselor Pasternak, MPP, MP. No, that's Baber, and then MPP Kersner, Rogers Stadium, Live Nation, and Municipal Licensing and Standards. And, oh, I forgot on the list, Mayor Chow is also on that list. So all of these people with one click get an email, and this is something that I've really learned in our campaigns and what we do. We need to make it really simple. People are busy, and if you're already sleep deprived and then you've had work and kids and all this kind of stuff, and then you're like, what, you want me to send an email? Don't make me think. Okay, then here we go. We've got 10 emails, and we've got a pre-formatted email for you that you can change if you like, and we actually recommend that you do. After the first sentence, you can absolutely put in your story about how Rogers Stadium is impacting you. Or if you're not in that area, I've had some people that have said they've been emailed in solidarity, so they've changed the email slightly to say, I don't live in the area, but da, 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 da. So that is absolutely possible. And so that is the way that we're empowering people. And on that website, you will also see a link that will take you directly to the amplified sound service request, which is what they call a noise report in 311. And there's also other things you can do. So one of the other things that you can do is participate in the sound level study. So for me, I was impacted by noise. I was impacted by vehicles, waking me up at 3 o'clock in the morning. And then when I did my research, I looked and I saw, so Toronto Public Health has a report called How Loud is Too Loud? And I looked and they were talking about averages. Well, we do not live with averages. And so I was like, this doesn't make any sense to me. So I bought these sound level meters to measure sound from my bedroom window. And back behind me, you can see all these spikes. Well, that each one of those is a muffler. Each one of those is a car accelerating hundreds of times a day. And so that validated my experience. And then as I've been going around, and so this map shows where I've been, and there's a kind of a big empty spot up there in Downsview. It shows where I've been, and all of this has added to the data set so that we can share our lived experience and force change. So these meters, I'm hoping to set up on Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday of this coming week, because the next concert is on August 19th. And the setup takes about an hour, and they run on battery for a week. But if you have power, or I have actually a little solar panel that they work off of, they actually have a data card that stores measurements for over 3 weeks, basically 24 days, but I just say 3 weeks. And somebody else has entered the room. Excellent. So that's the sound level study. And the reason for this is, I understand from people, is that by law is, they're around and they've been measuring and they've been doing all this kind of stuff. But what is it like at your balcony? Can you enjoy your balcony when those concerts are on? So they continuously record sound levels like I showed here. So this is from one of the meters. And so as you can see here, I only know this is amplified sound because of the signature that it leaves, but there's no audio recorded in these sound level measurements. And that's where it's really helpful to have people actually do noise logs. But I'm pretty sure based on this kind of signature, that I'll be able to see when the concerts start and stop. And I'm very happy to share that data with you as well. And an acoustical engineer who's part of No More Noise Toronto will also be looking at the data. And I've already got a meeting booked at the Downsview Library at 1 p.m. on September 17th to start sharing the data. I'll also make an online meeting so that everybody can attend. I always like things to be accessible. Okay, and so there are solutions to just about every noise problem that's out there. We have two working groups. We have a motor vehicle task force working group, and we also have an amplified sound working group. And in that amplified sound working group is a musician. And so he helped me to actually understand how we can manage this. And so overall sound level limiters, that from the stage or from that mixing board, it doesn't go any louder than X decibels. And then to specifically reduce the bass frequencies back to that vibration through equalization or multi-band limiters. Install additional noise barriers around the stadium. To this point, I want to say that on Councillor James Pasternak's website, he's got a Rogers Stadium FAQ, and they said that they have installed some sort of berms, mounds of soil to reduce the noise. Not sure. I haven't seen it myself, but I'm going to see it on the weekend. So interested in those. The other thing that people were saying was no exceptions to ending the show right at 11 p.m. I heard Coldplay went a little bit longer, but when you are enduring something and you're like, is it 11 p.m. yet? So that is respect for you. You have had this imposition on your life and your community. So the respect should be that the show ends at 11. And then somebody else said, actually, not having concerts early in the week, like concerts at 2 on Tuesdays, really? So anyways, that was also another solution. And the other thing that I want to mention here is area sound level monitoring. And on the right-hand side here, you see this monitor. And this is something that I'm actually actively working on. I'm working with someone who knows a whole bunch about this, and what we're looking to do is actually put together a proposal for the city. And what these are is basically where you have a light post, you have like a little knob on top of it. It's kind of pokes up, and they call that a whale spout. And what this is, which is not much bigger than basically kind of like a cell phone, is about the size 6 to 8 inches, and it plugs in on top. And what it does is it measures the sound levels and broadcasts them directly to municipal licensing and standards desktops. And that's through the Esri functionality, the partner that I mentioned right at the beginning. And this person who has worked for the City of Oakville, City of Mississauga, knows that City of Toronto has Esri enterprise software. So this is 100% possible and doable. Another person entered the room. So these are some of the solutions. And when you talk about area sound level monitoring, this could go. So the night economy was typically a downtown core kind of thing. Well, Rogers Stadium is part of it moving out of the downtown core into North York. It's also going into Etobicoke and into Scarborough. So wouldn't these be great places to have some sound level meters to understand what the baseline is now? And then make sure that those new neighbors are good neighbors by area sound level monitoring. Reduces time, and it creates efficiencies. And maybe, just maybe, we don't actually need to make reports in order to get action. So what you can do is help distribute flyers on the Take Action page. Again, there's two flyers there. One is somebody trying to sleep. Another one is people trying to enjoy their backyards with Rogers Stadium in the background. So you can distribute those flyers. They've got the QR code that takes you to the Take Action page, and then all the information is there. And please send emails. If we don't speak up, our voice isn't heard. It's as simple as that. And change happens when people do something. And this is part of what No More Noise Toronto is trying to do, is help people understand that there is something you can do. And if we organize, I believe we will be 100% successful. So make that report to 311. There was a recent articles in CP24 and also recently on Toronto Life about TTC bus horns going off, and they referenced 311 through a Freedom of Information request. They got the 311 reports. And so that's the data that the city makes information on. So if we stay silent, they don't know it's an issue. Talk to your neighbors, let them know about this campaign. There's no particular end date, after the last concert, I guess, which is, I think, September 5th. And the other thing you can do is host a sound level meter, and feel free to reach out to me. At info@nomoreNoiseToronto.com is one way that you can do it. If you also got an email from me earlier on today because you registered early, you can also just reply to that. So this is very much a community engagement pilot trial. I have been very curious about how people want to be active in their communities. I never want to ask somebody to do something that they don't want to do, but there's things. But if people don't know what to do, then there's just this absence of action. So here is where we're continuously learning about sound and about noise and the impact on communities. And so for you folks on Toronto Island, it's different but similar than those folks in up in the Downsview area. Literally both ends of the city. It's quite amazing. I love it. Um, but motor vehicle noise is very different than construction noise, and waste collection noise is a whole beast unto itself. So each community has their noise source that is an issue for them. And amplified sound I see as being a really good one for these localized kind of initiatives. Another one is Humber Bay Shores. A number of people have reached out to me. So that is kind of Palace Pier, Palace Place, that area. A whole bunch of people drive their cars up and down Marine Parade Drive, maybe because of the name. Um, but they're thinking about making it a residential, like a quiet zone. Oh, wouldn't that be a good community project to push for that to Amber Morley, you know? So this is how we can look at each community, but local engagement is critical because you understand your communities the most. And so what we're looking to do is create toolkits to help people understand what they can do, and then we would work together to design the materials, and then they understand the benefits of working together. No More Noise Toronto, we've gotten a lot of our members and exposure through campaigns, through the noise bylaw review that happened in January 2023, to the Toronto Public Health Noise Action Plan that happened this spring and a little bit last year as well. And so campaigns, and when people send an email, they can opt in to Noise News, which is the newsletter that we have. And so then this is a way that we can gain exposure. So then this is part of the benefits of working together, is that we can actually mutually help each other. And this is how we can make changes one neighborhood at a time. And so with this, I'm just going to do a little wrap up here, and then we'll go into Q&A and we'll have a discussion. But I just want to say thank you very much for coming out tonight. So please visit our website and check out our events. We have working groups for amplified sound and motor vehicle noise. Please sign up for Noise News, and we thrive by donation. So thank you so much.